there, superhero fans. Welcome back to another edition of Superhero Roundup here on SourceFedNERD. I'm Matt Lieberman.
I'm Sam Basher.
And I'm DJ Wooldridge.
And today, as always, we are talking about all the great TV shows that feature comic book characters on your televisions. We're talking about Gotham, The Flash, Arrow, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Not Constantine because we covered it last week.
And we'll cover it next week.
We'll cover it next week because the next episode's tonight and we haven't seen it.
Yeah, life's imperfect. We try to get these to you on a Friday so we can cover a whole week's worth of TV. It's not our fault that they're airing Constantine on a Friday.
And the other thing that we're going to cover is the shit ton of Marvel
to make up for it.
To make up for it, we're going to be talking about the Marvel event, and then DJ, as always, is going to give his picks for comic books for this week. And you know what, guys? We did something cool this week that I think we're going to continue to implement. We had a lot of people reach out to us and say, hey, I don't watch all these shows, or like, I want to be able to watch your show even though I haven't watched Arrow yet, or I haven't watched Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. yet. Good news, we have these annotations. In which, look how special they are, in which you can skip to the show that you care about most, or just skip over the one that you haven't seen quite yet.
Yep.
We're all about helping you guys out. We want to keep doing this show for a long, long time. Tell all your friends.
Please.
Let's start with Gotham, which, again, still not quite meeting expectations, but I would like to say this week's episode, The Spirit of the Goat, written by Ben Edlund, who created The Tick many years ago, was easily the best installment, and it continues this very gradual progression of promising choices on the show.
I would say this might meet the lowest of expectations.
Why?
I might, just because I don't know.
Because
it's the thing. I don't watch a lot of like network cop shows. This might be fine for network cop shows. The cop shows I'm used to are like The Shield and The Wire, which aren't fair to compare Gotham to. You can't. You can't compare it to. So it's probably fine. We got to know a little bit more about Harvey Bullock, and if they keep on this, I hope they keep the trend that they started at this episode with Harvey Bullock, because then he will be the most interesting character on the show.
Right. This guy who is now really, really hard-edged, who used to be a lot softer, who used to want to be the hero, who used to be a James Gordon, and now has had his heart so thoroughly hardened that he's unrecognizable.
Which we didn't get a lot. Like, I'm hoping they're not saying this is the definitive event that made him harden, because it was not enough of one.
No.
So I'm hoping there's more to it than just what we saw. They're going after a serial killer that says they are possessed by the spirit of the goat, and young Harvey Bullock, 10 years prior, is so gung-ho that he rushes in and through events, basically his partner accidentally gets crippled for the rest of his life.
Oh.
Yeah, and so we find out that Harvey's been paying that guy's bills ever since.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. So that's interesting, and the way they resolve the spirit of the goat thing is a little bit too easy, but like it's a better mystery than we've had ever in the show.
That's the thing, is like the setup is way better than the payoff, but at least the payoff was something I hadn't seen, at least in a while, maybe never seen before, but I hadn't seen in a very long time. Where it was a hypnotist. I thought that the goat mask design was really cool because it's very evocative of Batman's mask. That was really, really neat. And Bruce Wayne continues to become a better character by making him active. Yeah. And like, it doesn't make sense on some level that young Bruce Wayne isn't really mourning his parents anymore, but the less he mourns his parents, and the less that James Gordon comes to him for advice on cases.
Wait, why would he come from?
Don't worry about it.
I don't want to ask. Never mind. I don't.
like last week and this week, finally, Bruce is just doing his detective thing, and Alfred is helping him out.
The one thing I mentioned last week on the show is I really feel like Bruce should just go to fucking school. Why isn't he in school? He's a kid. Why isn't he in school?
Because he's rich. He don't need no school.
Exactly.
I don't think that's how that works. But also, once again, we got a subplot with Edward Nygma, and he continues to be probably the most annoying character on the show. I can completely do
I thought you were
without
going
him.
to say something opposite.
No.
He seems like from outside seems interesting.
But that's the thing,
No,
is like he has so much promise, but he's given nothing to do. Like, we don't need an Edward Nygma relationship subplot where he awkwardly tries to hit on the girl in the records room.
Yeah.
That doesn't work for me. Penguin still continues to be an utter disappointment. I hate the way that he's portrayed. His fucking hair, his cowlick drives me nuts. Like, even the front parts, even though, like, okay, there's no reason why the little spikes should stay little spikes when he's in a goddamn bathtub. He should be the smartest guy in the room, and he never is. Instead, he's just constantly screwing up or being silly, and that's not who Penguin is.
Speaking of villains, let's segue into the Flash.
Yes.
'Cause we got one of the
my
Flashes.
God, this was the best episode.
Yeah. This was a great episode of The Flash.
Right. This episode had dealt with Captain Cold, one of the main nemesis.
Yep.
Oh,
We
here he
actually
is.
had a little,
Of the Flash. And I like that I didn't know this, but he's just a normal guy that gets a hold of the freeze gun or whatever it is, whatever the name of the weapon is.
Yeah.
I liked what they did with the CGI. I liked what they did with the music. I liked the character development for him, and I liked the little tease at the end that wasn't another
Tom Cavanaugh
being weird, even though he was creepy throughout the whole episode.
Yeah, exactly.
But he was like, Cisco,
Well, no, we finally-
you cannot
yeah, dude.
hurt Barry. And I'm
But
like,
it's good that we
okay.
actually see other characters seeing his creepiness, and it's not just on us anymore.
Right.
Yeah, or dead people.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Cisco's
Yeah.
like, whoa, man. He's like really
it's not your
protective of
role.
Barry. This is weird. Maybe he's a reverse Flash, maybe? Yeah, Wentworth Miller's Captain Cold. I loved him.
He was one of the more solid villains they've cast because I wasn't completely sold on everybody else except for Weather. What is his
Weather
name?
Wizard?
Weather Wizard. Yeah, he was pretty solid, but he's dead. So
super dead.
Yeah, but so I'm glad that he's gonna come back, and I want to see Heat Wave. I want to see him start being used, but it won't be for a while probably.
Yeah, and it's kind of cool that they're doing this this casting of Dominic Purcell as Heatwave, so they're reuniting the two stars of Prison Break. That's really neat. I really liked how Wentworth Miller played this guy. In a weird way, it kind of recalled the only other Captain Cold I've ever seen, which is the Super Friends Captain Cold, with all of the cartooniness taken out, but just sort of like the seriousness with which he approaches his work and the disdain that he has for the Flash.
Yeah.
I just thought he was stellar. But you weren't crazy about
I
it.
have mixed. The episode was wonderful. It was probably the best episode of the show so far.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of Captain Cold, and while I like the way Wentworth Miller played him, if I recall, and I know somebody in the comments will correct me if I'm wrong, one of the reasons I've always liked Captain Cold in particular and the Rogues in general is they're not fucking murderers. There's no.
Wouldn't you die from the freeze ray?
Well, they use it. They're crooks. They do robberies, and other ones might murder. But if I recall, Captain Cold was kind of like the center of like, listen, we're rogues. We got a code. We're not Batman. That's what differentiates them from Batman villains, and also differentiates them from the more sociopathic Flash enemies like Reverse Flash or Gorilla Grodd. And there's more of there's an adversarial relationship obviously between Flash and the Rogues, but it's not like. It's your job conflicts with my job, not like you're a fucking murderer and I need to stop you. And so as the episode's going on, it's like, cool, you don't kill cops because of the heat. Yeah, this seems like Captain Cold, right on. He murks a couple of his partners, a little edgy, but they're criminals too. I get it. And then he just straight up murders a guy just to prove, just to see how the freeze gun works. And I'm like, I'm not.
No, but that's the thing is like he murders the arms dealer. He murders the arms dealer specifically so that he doesn't have to pay for it.
Not him. He's talking about the guard.
The
guard
guy
at the museum.
That's running that Barry can't get. And I imagine perhaps it's because I was not part of a conversation in the writers' room where they decided that having him not be a killer made the stakes very low. But it makes it harder. I really like Captain Cold, and now I can't really root for him as a character because he's a murderer.
He is a murderer,
but it's
super interesting murderer.
Yeah, the way they played him is very cool. The actor was very cool. The episode was very well constructed. I thought the end, how they resolved it, was a little bit weak. With Cisco coming up with his fake freeze gun and Captain Cold was like, "Cool, I'm out." You know what I mean? Like that seemed a little bit. It just seemed like a stretch. The stuff with the train was great. It was a great. Like if I take what I like about Captain Cold out and I just look at the episode objectively, it was a great episode.
Yeah.
No, the train sequence was amazing, and I liked Cisco's part. It was cartoony, but it proved that like he is not just the goofball. It's
exactly.
Like, he
I really liked
really
that. In the comics, it's actually Snart actually invented the cold gun, but I liked in this show that he didn't because it gave Cisco a lot. It added a cool dynamic. And fortunately, since we kind of threatened the Team Flash dynamic, Felicity was there to say, "Hey, here's how it goes on a superhero team, everybody."
Yeah. I like that. Also, can I just say, and maybe this is not PC, but she is a Felicity Smoke show, and Barry is crazy not to. Okay, yeah, they kissed, but it didn't mean shit. It was a kiss of like, listen, I know we're not together. You fucking run away. How dare you, Barry Allen? She doesn't love you, but she's very into you, and she's smart. She gets you. I don't fucking get it. You're not the dark superhero. Enjoy that someone likes you, for God's sake. Iris is dating your father figure's partner. She's not available. Love the one you're with.
Oh, by the way, speaking of the partner, that was a great dialogue between Iris and I'm blanking Joe. Joe, that's the character's name.
Yeah.
Joe West. So when they were talking about that, he's like, I'm not mad that you're dating him. I'm mad because he's now like a liability. That like, if he were to die and I couldn't stop him, you're not gonna look at me the same anymore. I'm like, okay, I never thought of it that way before.
He continues to be a very well-written character. I also love the scene between him and Eddie, where Eddie's trying to like talk to him about Iris like an idiot.
Oh, you mean like when we talk and go get beers?
We've never gotten beers before.
Yeah, I only do that with my friends. It was great. It was the best shutdown.
Let's talk about another CW show, Arrow, which this week brought back Nissa Al Ghul.
Yeah, gave her she hasn't had that much to do ever, right? She featured a lot in this episode. It was good. She did a good job.
She was the villain one time in one of the episodes last season, and then she was in the finale, which was cool, but she kind of just popped out of nowhere, really. This episode, she was great, and I liked that we got to meet Raz, whatever you want to call him.
I call him Raz.
I call him Raish.
The Raish thing bothers me because I don't understand where it comes from.
It comes from Batman the Animated Series.
Yeah, thank you. And it comes from Batman Arkham City.
Raish. Yeah, every time Paul Dini writes it, it's Raish. I don't know. I feel like it should be Raz. Even in Batman Begins, there's two versions. Somebody calls him Raish and somebody calls him Raz.
I don't know.
But we'll call him Raish because that's what the show's calling him.
Did they?
Yeah, they call him Raish.
They call him Raish.
Okay, we're gonna go with that.
All right, it's my boy Raish. Okay, I know we only saw the guy for like half a second, but that is not what Raish Al Ghul looks like.
It worked for me.
Yeah,
I was indifferent because I haven't seen. That wasn't anything to prove his acting ability.
I know.
But he doesn't look like. I see what you mean, but
there was at one point an interview with Liam Neeson where he said he'd love to be on the show if they asked him, which is the bullshit that actors say.
Yeah.
And then apparently they did ask him and he couldn't for scheduling things.
No,
How
long it would take to get enough money.
Exactly. How much would everybody have shit their fucking pants if it was Liam Neeson?
I think I might have died in my chair.
How much would people have just lost?
Liam Neeson?
They hadn't showed him yet, right?
It's
not in one ad, and he popped up, and everyone was.
Yeah, they would have lost their minds because then the implication is that this takes place in the Dark Knight universe as well. Anyway, I don't know. It was fine. We'll wait to see more of them. I don't know how much of Raish we're going to see in the show.
Well, I feel like on some level he's going to be built into the big bad for the season.
Was that the Last Crusade temple that we saw?
No, it looked a lot like it.
Built inside a mountain?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. That would
it
be
was
cool.
not Angkor Wat.
Yeah.
I think it's Angkor Wat. I could be wrong.
I don't know.
I mean, we're not.
The rest of the episode was pretty solid too.
Yeah.
I'm blanking on it. I like that the flashback connected season 1 to now. Explain it because what's her name? Who is in charge of
Amanda
Waller?
Who I think is still too young, but anyway.
Yeah, but she it was cool to tie her back because you teased her at the end of the first season.
And China White was apparently on that plane that was supposed to be shot down. And apparently China White, who seems pretty easy to take down, was a big enough deal that we needed to destroy an entire fucking plane to get rid of her. But whatever. Maybe that's why you need superheroes in this world. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. She's in China with him.
Do we think China White murdered Sarah? Because it's a little weird that we're just bringing up China White all of a sudden.
I think it's just to bring her back because I liked her in the first and second season. She was really cool.
I'm just saying.
But why would she have an axe to grind?
At this point, we have no idea who it would be. I don't think they've given us any concrete evidence of who it could be because all the usual suspects are out.
Well, that's what I'm saying. They did a very good job in just running down all the usual suspects in the last few episodes. And now it's just sort of like, well, crap. How long are we going to string out this mystery?
Yeah, and also now Thea is in the liar seat. She's the one keeping secrets from Molly. She's on the phone with fucking Malcolm. And Oliver's even trying to go out of his way to be hardcore honest. Like, hey, Malcolm was the one that saved you. I know you didn't know that already, but Malcolm's the one that saved you.
Yeah, but she keeps lying.
Yeah. It also is a good example of how stupid you would feel if you've been lied to this whole time. Ollie looks real dumb in that situation. So you realize how stupid Thea must have felt when she found out.
I liked John Barrowman a lot in this. I like when he gets a lot of screen time. He was great. Like he's like, okay,
with Oliver
I'm a terrible person, but I didn't do this.
I also thought it was cool because he kind of bumped up the camp just enough to really hit that right supervillain note. Like it wasn't too over the top, but it was just like out there enough. It's like, this is a supervillain.
Well, yeah, because it's once you come back from the dead, once you come back from the dead, once you come back from the dead, you gotta be a little bit larger than life because no one comes back from the dead.
I also wonder how. I don't think we'll probably ever touch on it, but I wonder how he came back because it seems unlikely that a Lazarus pit was involved.
No, he is very anti-Malcolm Merlin.
Yeah, but you saw Raish coming out of the pool.
Something was going on there. That'll be interesting. I'm really excited to see where that goes, and it's cool that apparently the 4th episode's really where they like to turn the dial up on these shows because we got Captain Cold and Flash, and we got
Ra's al Ghul.
It was the 50th episode. It was solid. Yeah, that's why it was really a big deal.
Yeah.
So good on Arrow.
So now, you know what? I get to talk about Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. this week. I
Okay. Hell yeah! This episode was very solid.
It was very solid.
Cool story. I like that they finally they did something that made sense. Like if Hydra really wanted to bury S.H.I.E.L.D., pretend to be S.H.I.E.L.D. That's all you had to do, like once, and then like it almost worked.
So the leader of the mercenaries, he's like a guy who was Whiplash at some point.
He in the comics was the first Whiplash.
He was the first Whiplash.
Yeah.
Super cool.
Yeah.
Great job of like using his.
Yeah, apparently the way to be a good villain in the Marvel Cinematic Universe is to not talk a lot, look kind of cool, and just get shit done. Because every time, other than Loki, the best villains have been like Winter Soldier that don't talk a lot, come in and then
get shit done. And have like a cool hair, unique weapon, knife on a chain. Love that fight between him and May, kicking some ass. I hope that they don't do this too much, but I liked the Bobby Hunter interplay. It was fun for an episode. Let's dial it back for like 4 or 5.
It did facilitate my favorite line of the episode when May's like, "You know I don't like you, right?"
Yeah.
It's by far my favorite part of the episode. Didn't really buy the whole like, listen, I know I made a pretty big show about betraying Hydra and kicked a lot of people's asses, but I'm going to see if my cover still works.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. That seems like a stretch.
Yeah,
I liked,
but they didn't let it happen for long. She got to talk to him for like 5 minutes, and they used to bang. So I understand why he would think he would still want to know what's up.
He would still want to believe that.
Because he's like, she's probably a mole.
But maybe I could still tap that one more time.
Wait, Adrienne Palicki, what has she been in before?
Adrienne Palicki is best known for Friday Night Lights. She was just in John Wick in theaters. She was in the movie Legion.
She was also in the last G.I. Joe movie, and she also has a fun role in the From Dusk Till Dawn TV series.
Oh, cool. So like, she's very familiar. So I was trying to figure it out on IMDb. I got lazy.
And like the costumers on this show, first of all, Corporate Synergy. The first time she shows up with her new blonde hair, she is in tight jeans and a Star Wars T-shirt.
Yep.
And just basically
nice synergy.
Like, hi fans, we giving you what you want yet? We made all these changes.
We're getting there. I really liked her costume.
Yeah.
It was good to have somebody in some sort of superhero type get up on the show. I enjoyed that.
And Simmons' discussion with, I don't know who the new character, Mac?
Yeah.
That was great because it's like, he was serious. He's like, you are the reason why he's kind of messed. I mean, like, besides the brain damage, but like,
yeah. I liked that Fitz got to call her on some of the stuff, but he didn't come out and say the one remaining big question, which is like, so do you have feelings for me or do you not? Because I put myself out there and you never told me how you felt about what I said. You left ultimately, we find out, because you think that you're one of the reasons why I'm so bad right now, but that's because we have not cleared the air about that yet. We cleared the air about you leaving. We didn't clear the air before you left about that stuff. Fuck.
And Sky, oh my God, Ward was great in this episode.
Yeah, and his brother, Tim DeKay, Christian Ward, I liked.
Oh my God, I love him. He was in White Collar, or is in White Collar.
Yeah. What I liked, go ahead.
No, I thought that scene where they're both talking about how the other one's a great liar was one of the best scenes S.H.I.E.L.D's ever done. And here's what I think. I think it might be too obvious to have Ward just be just a straight up liar. So I think it's probably his brother who's really putting on.
Is he the one that's worse though?
I wish it was Ward just being pathological, because I always thought the whole like, my brother was mean to me is like the worst motivating factor for any villain.
What I loved about it is they played it so straight that even though we know Ward a lot better, you can't tell who's game and who. You can't tell who's telling the truth. I love how cold-blooded Coulson is, where he's just sort of like, listen, dude, I don't care what you have to say. You are a pawn, and now I reeled in a bigger fish. I'm giving you up because you're no longer of use. It is more important that we have this anti-S.H.I.E.L.D. build put to bed. So I don't care if your brother's evil. Fuck you. Go die in a hole.
Yeah, I wonder if there was a conversation where when they were putting on the handcuffs of like, do you think Ward remembers that training we give all our agents that they can just break out of his handcuffs? No, probably not.
That was a great scene, and they really put an emphasis that the handcuffs were not tight at all. They were like, okay, we're gonna go. All right, that's good.
Well, let me ask you this, because somebody voiced this idea to me. Do you think that Coulson always intended for Ward to get away?
No.
No?
No.
Ooh.
No.
That he was
I see
no
reason why he would think that was a good idea.
And having like
I wondered that
20
too,
armed guards.
Yeah.
Having 20 armed guards.
But it wasn't 20. It was like 4. No. And this is one of the most dangerous people ever. And you're not going to put May in that car? You're not going to put Mockingbird in that car?
We do know
You're just going to put some dudes?
Yeah.
We know that he could take down May, though. If she's caught off guard, he could take her down. Not kill her, but
she
at least
would be watching him like a goddamn... Why not knock him out?
Yeah, it's
why
true.
not
Like,
put the thing on him?
Yeah.
They put it on, and then they took it off when they got in the car.
Why don't you use some kind of advanced handcuffs? Magnets?
You probably have. Because even though you have no budget anymore, Coulson still has a lot of neat little holographic things in his office that don't make any fucking sense.
Yeah, what about that little cube that contains all of old S.H.I.E.L.D.? Let's use that to find a way to keep Ward from escaping.
I've also been trying to figure out what Inhuman Sky's dad is and what Inhuman Sky's going to end up being, and how they're going to fit into the whole Inhumans movie that Marvel announced on their big thing.
Well,
I've heard Maximus the Mad might be her dad, which I think would fit really well. I don't know what that. I don't think he had a daughter. I don't know what she'd be. I was thinking Sky might be Crystal, but I think Crystal's too big a deal within the Humans thing that she's not going to be one of the main characters in the movie. So it's probably some like they usually do on the show. It's probably some C-lister that you look up later and you're like, oh, it's that character.
Yeah. We're talking about the Marvel movies. There was this big Marvel event this week at the El Capitan Theater, and they announced 9 flips.
9 movies.
9 movies.
For like the next 10 years of our life.
Yeah, between now
6 years.
and 2019.
So much.
So we have Avengers 2 this summer, as well as Ant-Man.
Yep.
And then we have Doctor Strange.
Yep.
We have Captain America 3, Civil War. Well,
how are they gonna do that? Not a clue.
Yeah, Guardians of the Galaxy 2,
which has been moved up.
Yep. Guardians of the Galaxy 2, Thor Ragnarok, Captain Marvel, which is Carol Danvers, awesome.
Yep.
Inhumans.
Inhumans.
Black Panther, with Chadwick Boseman playing Black Panther, and of course, Avengers: Infinity War Part 1 and Part 2. Wow.
Yep.
Did we hit all of them?
Yes.
I think we hit
I counted 2 extra because that's Phase 2, but the Phase 3 we had of all of those.
I do hope that this is all building to Infinity War. Infinity War is kind of like a reset button, because eventually the continuity of these movies is going to become completely impenetrable. Just because it's getting
pretty solid.
I mean, yeah, but it's just one of those that's just going to keep building on itself. And granted, it's movies, not like a bunch of comic series or a bunch of TV shows where you need to catch up on a bunch of stuff. But it's getting to be, if you want to catch up, it's getting to be more and more involved. You know, because everything connects to everything else and all that stuff. But anyway, like not like a start over, but kind of like Cooler Jets kind of look at where all the franchises are. Like I would imagine Ragnarok, Thor's going to be out of the picture for a little bit probably.
Something's going to happen in Avengers.
Yeah. And talking about Captain America Civil War, spoiler alert, if you've read the comics, Cap did not make it out of that. And right now in the comics, Falcon is Captain America, so I imagine they're setting up that, which I personally think is bullshit, because I think Falcon's a cool enough character on his own that doesn't need to become Captain America.
We got Winter
to be
Soldier.
important. But Iron Man's not getting any sequels recently,
which is fine.
Yeah, and I think it'd be a good. I feel like that's what they've been building towards since Nick Fury showed up in Iron Man's apartment. And I feel like that might be a good time to
reset.
Yeah. Maybe cast some.
Do you
new
think
faces
it might go? Yeah, like it might go as far as like that's the point that the entire cast exits.
I'm interested to see because typically when a comic character is written out, like when Cap died and Bucky took his place, that lasted all up until the next Captain America movie came out and Steve Rogers was back, because that's who's going to be in theaters. And I'm wondering if we might actually see, since that might be their way of recasting. Listen, now Falcon's Captain America, and now Sam Wilson's going to be Captain America in the comics for the foreseeable future.
That would be real cool.
Yeah. What was I gonna say? I read that Iron Man's Robert Downey Jr.'s only signed on for one more Avengers movie. That's what I read. Correct me if I'm wrong, or correct me in the comments.
Well, here's the thing, right? I imagine that is the truth. That was his contract. He's getting paid $40 million to be in Civil War. I imagine they're giving him a nice, healthy contract to appear into Avengers 3s.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm worried. I'm excited. I'm excited for Black Panther because finally. I'm excited for female Captain Marvel because finally. I'm excited for Captain America Civil War because I think Cap 2 is the best Marvel movie, in my opinion.
Man,
I am a little worried because the only problem that movie had was it was a little bit bloated. And now that we're including Iron Man,
and it's just like, how are you
Avengers,
going?
How's it a Captain America movie at that point?
Well, first of all, Captain America is gonna have to clearly be your protagonist.
But I'm saying,
how do you fit that entire storyline into one movie?
Yeah, I don't know. And I'm also excited for the Avengers movies because Joss Whedon makes good movies.
Yeah.
How do you? Yeah, I mean. Thinking about it, how are you going to have the importance of like Spider-Man in there? How are you going to have all those subplots
and the
about
Avengers
everything?
2 trailer. Did you guys talk about the Avengers 2 trailer on the?
We did.
We didn't talk about the new extended thing with them.
With the scene, that was fun.
Oh, that was a lot of fun.
But did you see the scene from the movie that was released?
Yeah.
Between Tony and Cap?
Yeah.
I mean, that's set up for it, but like I don't know what they're going to build it off of. The scene when they're with the logs. Have you not seen that? Okay, there's a scene where they're talking and it's like they know that they've already in this scene. You know that they've already gone against the Maximoff twins, and that they said that Scarlet Witch showed them something. Don't know what that means. Maybe the future or something. And Thor is going off to check something, and the team is split up to go check things around the world. Yeah. And Cap and Tony are talking, and they're chopping wood, and they're like talking about the importance of staying together and like all this shit. It's just all it is leading up to Civil War. This is set up for Civil War. So at least they're doing that. Chopping wood.
Well,
because
and then
got a farm.
Apparently at one point, Steve Rogers gets so frustrated he splits a log with his bare hands.
Okay.
Go check it out. You can find it. Also, the Infinity War's got a teaser.
Yeah,
which
is just literally a shot of Thanos from one of the movies that they stuck a CG gauntlet to make it look like.
And I feel like Infinity War is probably going to be that big giant crossover we've been talking about, where it's Avengers, Guardians of the Galaxy, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D, the Defenders, Inhumans, the whole shebang, and that's probably why it's 2 movies because it's going to be everybody and their mom. Somebody was like, "Oh man, what if they start sucking for that?" No, Marvel has a formula, so you're going to get a few standouts, and the rest are going to be that same like
level of like fine.
Oh,
like Thor movie level, fine.
Yeah.
Thor movies, Captain America 1, fine.
Yeah, it's so bad. Thor 1 at least is okay.
Yeah.
The Captain America 1 is.
I like Captain America 1. Thor 2 I think is the weakest of
Marvel.
That is the one that was sort of like boring. Stop.
Nothing interesting.
Give me anything, please, to like.
I also don't, with the Avengers clip, I also don't understand how it's so heavy to lift, but you can just set it on things.
Someone talked about that.
It's
magic. It's not the star. It's not a dwarf star. All it is magic. It weighs as much as a hammer.
And by magic, we mean nanotechnology that we can never explain to you.
Quantum entanglement, okay?
All right.
So I'm interested to see. Hopefully, because Thor 3's Ragnarok, that'll be good.
Yeah.
Finally.
And Kevin.
He's a robot.
You want to explain what that is?
Ragnarok's a
Ragnarok. Well, no. Ragnarok is in Norse mythology is basically the end times for the Norse gods, and there was a storyline in Thor called Ragnarok that Thor's series ended for years, like 5 or 6 years, and Thor was not around the Marvel U for the time. What Sam's talking about is during that time is when Civil War happened, and Tony cloned a version of Thor that was called Ragnarok.
/built a robot type thing.
I feel like he would be wary about building robots post Ultron.
And here's the thing. I kind of hope. I think what would make that Civil War storyline more interesting in light of people like Spider-Man not being around is in the original Civil War storyline, both Thor and Hulk were out of the picture. I think it'd be really interesting if you had those two powerhouses on opposing sides.
Yeah.
To make up for everybody else that's not going to be there.
You mean like no, but I mean think about it. I mean they say Chadwick Boseman is as Black.
He's going to be in it.
He's going to be in it. I'm wondering if he's going to be in Avengers, but just as T'Challa, not as Black Panther, and he's going to officially don the costume in Cap 3. Okay. You've got all the Avengers, which now include Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver. I mean,
which I don't. They might show up in. They might show up in Civil War.
I don't know. I just hope Cap is not drowned out of his own movie because so many other people are in it.
Absolutely.
He wasn't drowned out of Cap 2.
He wasn't, but it was still a little bit bloated. I don't think that movie needed Agent 13.
Yeah. Maybe not. But he was kind of just
anyway.
In any case, DJ, what are your comic book picks for the week?
This week, this is showing up on Friday, obviously, but if you missed comics this week, you should have picked up Saga, number 24. Saga's the best. Saga's amazing. We talked about it once before, but Saga's a great sci-fi epic, and this is the last issue before the hiatus. I would suggest, actually, what you should probably do is wait a couple, probably a month, and then we'll have a trade of all the last run. And
great.
Fantastic. Check that out. The end of Brian Azzarello's run on Wonder Woman came out this week. I think it was Wonder Woman number 35. Fantastic. Brian Azzarello and Cliff Chiang completely reinvented the character. Really, it's the best thing to come out of the New 52.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's high praise.
But this next week, coming next Wednesday, you should pick up the finale for Superman Unchained. That thing's been going on forever, and if you've been picking up that, don't miss it. It's Scott Snyder, Jim Lee. Check out Gotham Academy. Number 2, it's a fun, different take on the Batman world. It takes place in a school in Gotham. I feel like they should incorporate some of that into the Gotham show and have Bruce Wayne go to motherfucking school because he's a kid. Also, Swamp Thing number 36. Charles Soule's been writing that. It's been great. Jesus Saez has been doing art on it. It's fantastic. And if you're into that, it's kind of a not, at least as far as the stuff I care about, not as big a week in Marvel. Avengers and X-Men Axis, their big event, all the superheroes and villains slugging each other is going on right now. It hasn't been that great so far, but Rick Remender is the guy writing it, and he's one of the best writers Marvel has. He's a favorite of mine, so it'll maybe getting better.
All right. Well, folks, thank you so much for watching Superhero Roundup here on SourceFedNERD. We're going to be back next week talking about all the great TV shows and comic books and all that great stuff.
Even Constantine.
Even Constantine. Be sure to let us know your thoughts so we can include your opinions at the hashtag #SHRoundup. I'm Matt Lieberman.
I'm Sam Basher.
I'm DJ Woolridge. This is going up on Halloween. You guys got anything exciting going on in Halloween?
Happy Halloween.
Yeah. Happy Halloween.
Maybe check out his video over on his channel.
Oh, yeah, I got to shoot an exorcism.
Maybe check out Steve's.
He's
got Halloween stuff too.
Yeah. Crazy Halloween stuff all over.
Happy Halloween.
Yeah, I don't got Halloween stuff, but I'm gonna wear horns.
Oh, my Legit Funds should be up right now. You should go check out me and Danny. Me and Danny did Legit Fun. Go check it out.
Go check it.
Do you have anything fun for Halloween?
No, I'm gonna slap together a costume involving a black curly wig, horns, and goodness knows what else. Yeah, and
just a black curly wig and horns.
That's all I have.
Okay.